This is March 6th. It is the March Achilles Connect. This is our monthly chance to hang out, talk about updates, things that are coming up, and whatnot. As long as an event doesn't conflict, they are typically on the first Thursday of each month. Hence, we are chatting today, March 6th. So we got some updates. New York City half marathon, the full marathon, the drawing just happened. Everyone's freaking out. It's great. We got some other races coming up, some movie things, some pancake things. But before all that, we are here today to celebrate a very special day, and it is Chandler's 4-month work anniversary. Yay, Chandler. For those that don't know, Chandler is the one checking people in on most Tuesdays and Saturdays. She also manages the Tri program because for those who don't know, we do have a triathlon team, which is just winding up right now. So if you're interested in triathlon, go to Rosterify, check off multisport in your profile, and you will get all the triathlon related info. You can also email triachilles@achillesinternational.org, which is the triathlon specific email address. I personally have not done a triathlon in a year and a half, maybe, question mark. So it is long overdue. We do have the first triathlon. See, I said I wouldn't plug the tri team, and I'm plugging the tri team. But we have a very fun first race. It is actually an indoor race, which, there are pros and cons to indoor races, but it's an indoor race at Mighty Man in Long Island. It's April 27th, whatever that Sunday is. And the swim is in a pool. So for those of us, myself included, who are not the strongest swimmer, you don't have to worry about open water, ocean waves, and all that stuff. It's in a pool, but then you jump on your bike, you do the bike portion, and then you do the run portion, both outside. So it's a cool sort of bridge before you want to jump in the ocean and do like a full triathlon to do the indoor version. So that's coming up on the Tri calendar, and all the other Tri races, by the way, is listed on your Tri Achilles events calendar. For those who don't know, we have 2 events calendars, both on Rosterify as shifts. The first is the Achilles NYC events calendar. That is all of the upcoming races and movie nights and all that stuff that we have. And then we have the triathlon specific race calendar as well. All right. First things first, last Sunday, we had the New York Roadrunners 5K, Washington Heights, Salsa Blues, Shamrocks, all the different words. 5K in Washington Heights on Sunday. It's kind of the first big race of the season. It is the first club points race for anyone who's tracking that race series. And I got to run it, and I ran about 2 miles of it with my dude Diego, aka Flash. And I will say much, much kudos to his guide, because I tried to distract that dude for the entire race to try to slow him down. And his guide was not having any of it. Like, his guide would shut me down. I'd be like, yo, Diego, like, how you feeling? You're looking so good, man. You're looking really like smooth, very not tired. And his guide would just be like, nope, we're not talking to Francesco right now. We're focusing on running. And I'm like, come on, Diego, let's banter. She's like, nope, we're not doing that. So kudos to good guiding. Guides are not just there to make sure that you don't crash into anything, but it's also a perk to have them there to make sure that you stay on track for your race. So kind of a fun way to kick off the racing season last Sunday in Washington Heights at the Roadrunners 5K. Next week, Sunday, we have the first, should say, large scale race of the season, which is the United NYC Half Marathon. For those who are registered, you should be getting all of your, the pertinent information as to your start waves. I will say, if you're like me and don't actually read the start line emails, if you get your new, I don't know, Apple TV and you like throw away the manual without reading it, if you're that type of person, pay attention a little bit to the race starts, because the starting times are different from last year. There is about 12, 15 different start times. They're all sort of plus or minus a minute or two from each other, but it's not all just lumped into, early and then wave 1 and wave 2. Like, there's a lot of sort of granular starts that all go on a little before 7, all the way up to 7:30 and beyond. So again, just read that email when it comes to you from Roadrunners. For anyone else who needs equipment, All that information will also be coming to you specifically based on what wave you're in. So just read the emails, read the info that you get sent. I will not be on the course, but I will be adjacent to the course. Chandler will be on the course.
Yeah.
Yes. What's our goal, Chandler? What are you trying to do this race?
My goal is to have fun.
Okay, her goal is to have fun. That is a fantastic goal. Okay, next, the moment we've all been waiting for. The New York City Marathon, the drawing happened. Some people got in, other people didn't. It's a little dramatic. It's fine. If you are, we're going to split this up into two, right? Athletes and guides. So if you are an athlete with disability and you got accepted through the drawing, fantastic. Congratulations. You're in the drawing. Basically the only thing you got to start worrying about are guides, right? Who do you want to guide you? Obviously, Achilles, we have plenty of people lined up in the rosters who are available to guide, but ideally you're picking guides who you are training with regularly that you know well, so you're not showing up with someone new on race day. Typically the guide registrations happen around August at the latest, right? So ideally we're getting them in before August. So I would suggest right now it's a little early, right? Because you don't know. Maybe you'll pick someone to guide you next week, and 4 months later in July you end up not liking them. So that's all complicated, and we don't need to get into that. So I would suggest having it in the back of your mind, and then around June, July is when you really want to start thinking about, okay, who do I want to see? Who do I want to have see me at my worst, right? My best and my worst. Like, who do I want to have guide me this 26.2 miles of love and happiness and pain and sadness and all that. I think a good goal for that, again, is end of July to know who you want your guides to be. Every athlete with disability is eligible for up to 2 guides at any one point during the race. So for most people, they have their guides guide them for the entire marathon. So that equals out to 2 guides for the athlete. And yeah, just have it in the back of your mind. Now, if you're a guide and you did not get into the lottery, if you want to run even on your own, right, for like without guiding, we have charity bib slots. They are, if not already spoken for, they are almost already all spoken for. But we do have a wait list. So even if they all are taken, you can get on the wait list. So what I would do is email Kelly. Anyone who's done charity stuff with us in the past, they know Kelly O'Brien. She was a guide for many years, still is a guide. She's actually guiding the New York City half next weekend with Bill Riley. But email Kelly, get on her list. If you don't know her email address, just email NYC and we'll point you in that direction. And then that way you can get on the wait list to be a charity fundraiser. If you were a guide and you only want to guide the marathon, meaning you definitely don't want to do it on your own. The only way you want to do it is as a guide. Couple things. One, show up to the workouts, because that is the number one way that athletes will meet their guides, right? You show up to a workout, you start running with the same person over and over again, you build up that relationship. Months later, you guys are like, oh, you're cool, I'm cool, we both like Ted Lasso or whatever the show is that's in these days. Let's run the marathon together. And that's how most, I would say 80%, give or take, of our guide matching works, is through that sort of organic process. Beyond that, though, the New York City Marathon is probably not up on our events calendar yet, but if it's not, it will be soon. Apply to that if you are a guide and you're interested in guiding, because that is where we'll pull the roster of people who are available to guide. Athletes, you can technically do that, NYC Marathon shift on roster as well, but you don't really need to. That's mostly just for guides who are available and interested in guiding and who want to guide. And that's it for the marathon. Are there any questions for the marathon before we give on? All right, cool. Let's just see. All right, I would say, cool. All right, let's talk about this next. For those who don't know, we have approximately 17, 18 workouts every single week in all across the 5 boroughs, which is a lot of workouts, right? One of the ones that paused during the winter actually resumed, or is going to resume here in 2 weeks. And that is a Wednesday evening Pelham Bay Park workout. And that is in the Bronx at Pelham Bay Park. It's at Playground for All Children. It's around the track that they have there. So if you're an athlete and you want to run around a track, this is a cool workout to show up. If you want to work out on a Wednesday evening, that's a cool workout to show up. And again, there's no limitation, right? If you can show up to Central Park on Tuesday, you can go to Pelham Bay on Wednesday, you can go to Queens on Thursday or Brooklyn on Thursday. So you can really line it up, especially if you're training for that marathon. Would recommend running more than once a week. So maybe add the Bronx Pelham Bay workout to your roster. For those who don't know the background of this place, basically, we have an athlete, a longtime athlete, dedicated. His name is Ariel, and he is an athlete with us, an amputee, but he's also on the faculty at Einstein Medical College. And he basically has this project where a bunch of med students will get together, who feel compelled, they apply for this opportunity and they feel compelled and inspired to basically produce this Bronx, Wednesday evening Pelham Bay workout and create this workout opportunity for athletes in that community on Wednesday evenings. So it's basically all run by this small group of med students, very awesome people. Some of them are charity runners. Actually, a lot of them are running the New York City Half next week. But yeah, great community to check out if you want to do a little Achilles workout tour across the boroughs. And that's the Bronx.
And
Yeah.
please repeat where athletes who are looking for guides for the marathon should look apart from the workouts.
Yeah, if you're an athlete, Benice, just get with me. I know you're doing the marathon, and we'll get you guides for that. That's no problem. But if you're any other athlete who need guides or who want to maybe train with guides outside of the normal workout schedule, right? If you're trying to like fit in extra runs, just get with us and we will try to make that happen. All right, and then the other thing happening in April is we are taking part once again in the Real Abilities Film Festival. And so for those who don't know, Real Abilities is a film festival featuring, produced by, starring, involving people, actors with disabilities. And so every movie that is shown in this film festival has some sort of disability, whether physical disability, cognitive disability, any type of disability. So it's a really cool way to sort of get our community together around a theme that we obviously have in common. And so the Real Abilities Film Festival at the JCC in Manhattan will take place this April. It's the first week of April. The reason why I'm bringing it up now, even though we do not have a date yet, is because once we have a date, we'll pop it up on the events calendar for everyone to sign up. But again, just keep an eye out on that it's about the first week and a half of April. Once we get the list of movies, we're going to comb through it, kind of figure out which one it makes sense, which one we want to partner on. And that's going to be our Achilles movie night of the year. We'll all get together, there'll be snacks, and we'll watch a movie together. So that's Real Abilities. And yeah, that's about it. Okay. The last thing I want to outline for all of you lovely people is the Indoor Marathon Relay on April 26th. That is a Saturday in the morning, because it's a really fun event. It's one of my favorite events of the year, but it can be a little confusing. And so we're just going to talk through real quick what that event looks like, how it's arranged, so that if you feel like you want to take part, you can, and you'll know exactly what to expect. And so it's hosted at the Armory track, which we don't know, it's in Wash Heights. We actually sort of run near it during the 5K last Sunday. But it is at the Armory track, which is a 200-meter banked track. Now, for those who don't know, banked, right, means that the either end sort of slants inwards. I never grew up running track, so I didn't know what that was until I stepped on it. So you might think it's a stupid thing to explain, but you'd be surprised how many people don't know what a banked track is. It's a 200-meter track, and each team, we're going to have 3 teams. Each team needs to run together a marathon distance. And so there will be 8 athletes for each team. So if you do the math, 8 athletes, we have 3 teams, that's 24 athletes total. But each athlete needs to run the distance of a marathon, which is about 220-ish laps, give or take. Each athlete, though, has to run on 3 different occasions or 3 different segments. So basically, if I'm team number 1 and I have 8 people, 8 athletes on my team, right? Each athlete will have 1 guide. And so guides are obviously needed for this as well. I'm going to run once, and then everyone else on my team, all 8 of us, will run once. And then I'm going to run a second time, followed by the rest of my team. And then I'm going to run a third time, followed by each one of my team. So that's sort of how that breaks down, right? 3 teams total, 8 athletes each. Each athlete will run 3 separate times. It has to be a marathon distance. And the kicker is we have to do it under 4 hours, because if that's the cutoff is 4 hours, which is about a 9:15 pace, because there are a whole other wave of indoor marathon relay teams kicking off 4 hours after we start. And so we got to make space for them. So all that being said, if you're an athlete or you're a volunteer or you're a guide and you want to take part in this indoor marathon relay, you should tune in. You should go to Rosterify, actually. Go to the events calendar, sign up for this indoor marathon relay. All those signups will close about 2 weeks out from the race. And that is when we will divide everyone up into teams based on pace and distance able to run. And we will inform everyone what team they're on. They can go ahead and register. It is free for athletes and guides, right? All races are typically free for guides, but this race is also free for athletes. And we will see which team wins. And I have a lot of money placed on my team, so I'm going to need all the fast people to be on my team. All right. Are there any questions about anything that I said or anything that is coming up or anything that is not coming up? We're going to crickets. That either means that I did a great job in explaining things or all of you are sleeping right now. We'll keep it open for like a couple minutes. If there's no questions, then we will pack it a day, because tonight we have Bronx swimming. For those who don't know, we now have swimming workouts in the Bronx at Lehman College on Thursday evenings. I used to swim there along with some athletes before COVID, not part of Achilles, just sort of doing our own thing. And it's a very welcoming pool, but it's very college vibe, which is not a bad thing. It could be a cool thing. All right, no questions? All right, folks. This was a short, sweet, and very exciting Achilles Connect. I'm going to go pound this Celsius so I can absolutely rage it up the MTA subway home so I can grab my swim stuff before swimming. So I will catch you all later. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday.